have Imprecation from Texas with us today. We have David and Jeff. Welcome to the
Going
podcast,
on,
guys.
Thank
How are you
you.
guys doing?
going on yesterday. How's it going? Thanks for having us.
Doing good, doing good. We're looking forward to what's coming up with you and Imprecation. So I'm glad we're having a chance to tell everybody about it.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so you guys have some pretty cool gigs coming up, so can you guys elaborate on that first?
Well, first and foremost, we have Mexico City working with Nuclear War Now and Grind Destroy. It's going to be our first time to play Mexico City. To my knowledge, I don't recall us ever playing Mexico City. We've done Monterrey before, and but that's in Nuevo Laredo. But we've never done Mexico City, so this will be interesting. It's a long time coming. That's going to be December 13th.
Right.
That's going to be
hmm
killer. Representing Nuclear War Now. Also, we have a few gigs kind of cooking up behind the scenes that nothing's been officially announced yet. But we can say that New York is on the radar. Maybe a return trip to California, and then
Mm-hmm.
our first ever trip to Canada as well. We just, like I said, nothing's been confirmed yet. The New York gig will be announced December 5th, and it's got a heavyweight headliner that we're co-headlining with, so it's going to be a killer show. So,
Any
yeah.
scheduled local gigs, Houston, or other Texas cities?
Uh,
Nothing yet.
Okay.
yeah, as of right now, we're just our 2026 schedule is kind of open right now. Everybody's kind of working on their other bands, like Trenchant and Morbus 666. Matt's working, busy with Oath and everybody else, Christian Museum and stuff. So we're just trying to figure out how everything's going to fall into place, for the year. And then we're just kind of we have a few offers kind of hitting our table right now, but we're just taking it one offer at a time just to see if we can fit it in without overcrowding everybody's schedule. So we
Yeah,
try to keep ourselves available for the good stuff.
that's
So
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It seems like Imprecation is on a good trajectory in terms of getting gigs and touring and such. You guys just played in Brazil, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was outstanding. That was
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell
just,
them about that, Jeff.
yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, we are. I would say we're on a good trajectory. That's thanks in large part to you. I feel like and I'm speaking as a 10-year veteran of the band, obviously not a founding member, but it does feel like between our newer material and the Theurgia Goetia Summa re-edition, we are being reintroduced or reconfirmed with a lot of people who knew about the band, but maybe what they weren't paying as close attention. It seems like everybody knows what's going on now because I think you probably agree, Dave. It didn't feel like all the shows we played in 2025, it didn't feel like we had to like really introduce ourselves to anyone completely.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was there was a lot of people that would come up to us and just like they were anticipating our arrival. I think, like Jeff said, I think the reintroduction of the Thuringia material, I mean, you did such a killer job on that, man,
Yeah.
and I can't thank you enough, man. That release has always bugged the shit out of me, man, because the original release, while I do respect Repulse and Dave Rotten,
Mhm.
Dave's a good guy, but I just think that the information on that release was not properly
Oh
documented,
shit.
so to say. It appeared that it was released to appear that there was only three guys in the band, and there was a lot more songwriting and stuff that went on that album. 85% of the album had members that weren't even mentioned on
hmm
the recording,
hmm
myself, included. But it's always nice that you kept the layout the way you did, like
Yeah.
you kept it true to form, but you did, but the the innards were correct this time. So
Right.
it meant a lot, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
your release has definitely impacted all the shows that we've played.
Yeah.
You know, from Santiago, our tour through Europe. We were signing the reissues like crazy.
Yeah.
People were coming up with the reissue, like opening pages in the book, you know, and wherever, we were just signing it everywhere. It was very, very popular. It was very,
Yeah, it was.
people seem to really like the job that we did on it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like hearing stuff like that. Appreciate that. So how did the European tour go with Backsax AXA?
It
Oh
was
man,
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Matt were the only two band members who'd ever toured in Europe ever. I mean, Imprecation played Killtown in Denmark, but Dave, that's
that was
right,
a
isn't
one-off.
it?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a one-off. Yeah.
So I hadn't played in Europe on a tour. I mean, I'd played over there in one-offs also, but I hadn't played a tour since 2003.
Hmm.
And it was kind of incredible how this tour with Backsax AXA and us kind of recreated that whole vibe, like really DIY, really underground. Not a lot of hype, just, hey, we're coming. It's just the two of us. Most of the shows we played didn't even have an opening band, which was phenomenal. And I think people really caught the idea of what we were trying to convey, because Backsax AXA is a really, really old, obscure name. Imprecation is an old, obscure name. We were there at the beginning of that wave. I say we, even though it was Dave and Ruben and not, I mean, I was there, but I wasn't an Imprecation is all.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because it was component. It was the same vibe, even though it was black and death metal, but it was also kind of where that intersection occurs. And people showed up. The attendance was really good at the shows overall, and people stayed for both bands. There wasn't any factionalism of black versus death. Everybody was there for the whole thing. And I really like Backsax AXA. Patrick's a great guy. All those guys are great. The band is awesome. They're one of my favorite current black metal bands.
It was like a treat getting to see them every night for like 10 nights in a row or whatever we did. You know, it's like it was. I felt it was really cool. Like everybody, we all got along. There was no drama. You know, Patrick was a phenomenal. He assumed the role as road manager, and he did a phenomenal job, man.
Great leader.
He is all business. He took care of shit. Even when crisis happened, he took care of it in stride. I can't say enough good things about him, the way he handled it, and Marcus and Andres, and I mean everybody in the band. They're like family now. You know, like the way I look at it. You know, so
yeah. And again, I really felt like that those dates made a really great point of just the old way, without like kind of being boomers about it. You know what I mean? It was just an artistic statement. People took it for what it was, how it was intended, and I think the idea hit on all cylinders. And you know, it was actually more successful than I thought it was going to be. Abyssal Booking, which is now our official booking agency in Europe, I'm pleased to say, they did a great job, but they were worried at some of the shows that, like, you know, pre-sales were a little low, things like that. And so we didn't know what to expect, but then we showed up and everybody was there, you know?
Yeah, it was because I think they were starting to, the closer the tour got, some of the dates were starting to get a little panicky with some of the booking. I think because the pre-sales weren't there. And we just kind of like, well, this is an underground show. We weren't really expecting that there was going to be like sold out shows or anything like that. But what happened was everybody just decided to come win the show. Like, you know, people just came and they showed up in force. Like on weeknights, you're in Vienna on a Sunday night. There's
it was Monday.
Plus.
It was a Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night. There's 100 plus there. You know, you're in Czech Republic the following night. There's close to that on a Tuesday. Poland's got close to 300 on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
the
Poland show was sold out, I think.
Yeah, it sold
Yeah.
out. I think
Yeah.
Belgium was pretty unexpected too. You know, like
Mhm.
that one filled up real good. Of course, Italy, that was a
Ah.
that was killer, especially seeing Euronymous playing too. That was a killer
Yeah,
show, man.
that show ruled. I mean, we got treated well by all the audiences.
What's on?
Yeah, and I really was worried because I felt I'd been there before in the past when I was in Europe when George W. invaded Iraq and Americans were not popular, and
Hmm.
I could feel that vibe a lot when I was moving around over there back then. And I was really expecting a similar reception, because of Trump. And I'm not taking a side on it. I'm just being realistic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're unpopular again, over there. And I was expecting everybody to kind of, take that out on us or not come to the show because, fuck those Americans. Nobody was like that at all. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, we got no grief from anybody. Going from place to place at the shows, everyone was extremely cool to us. That's like the best I've ever been treated in Europe, actually. It was pretty remarkable.
Yeah. It was something I'll never forget. It was amazing. Being able to I've never toured before. Like as many years, as many decades as I've been putting music out and performing stuff, I've never actually done a tour. That
Mhm.
was the first time, and to be in Europe to do it for the first time was something to really think to remember.
Yeah, and it was remarkable because Saxa had never done a tour either outside of the US, and that was even fewer dates. So for like back-to-back dates through an entire like 10-day span, that was new for them too. And I'll allow that Patrick and Dave were going through cough drops
Oh
and
man.
ginseng potions and everything they could to preserve their voices. Both of them were dying by the end. I felt
we
really
had this
bad.
we had this like Chinese, like the Dave from Oath of Cruelty turned me on to this like Chinese cough syrup. It was like real thick. It had like honey and shit in it. And he's like, this is what I get by because Dave does a lot of touring with PLF and all that other
Right.
stuff. And so he's like, this is what I use. So it's
Mm.
all in Chinese. I couldn't read it. The instruction, everything was just like, okay, bottoms up, man. And then Patrick was walking by and he's like, what is that? And I'm like, it's this Chinese guy. He's like, can I have some? And I'm like, yeah. And so Patrick's like, great. He's like, very nice. And then he takes off. Next thing you know, me and Patrick's like, come on, give me the stuff, that's it. Hold on for a second. So, oh wow, what the heck's going on? Okay, but anyhow, so Patrick is he's Patrick was me and him were like addicted to that stuff. It got us through.
Yeah.
And then what was cool was in Belgium, his lady came to the show and she had all kinds of goodies to get us through to Steelfest, so
Yep.
because we were running low. I mean, there was like that much left in Belgium, and we're like, okay, but yeah, it ended up being pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, people say, "Oh, were you guys partying a lot?" And I'm like, "We weren't." Well, it's like the two singers were drinking all this cough syrup, but
Yeah, we're hitting that lean,
yeah,
yeah, but no, it was it was really cool. I mean, we all it was just strictly business. We
yeah,
played the show, went to bed, woke up, hit the road, boom, we get
yeah,
some gas station food, hit it, and we were arriving at sound check on time every
yeah.
time.
It was.
Cool. You want to tell the story about the gas?
Oh, not really.
Okay, we'll leave
Let's
that
not.
for another time.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, let's just say it just went off with everything went off without a hitch, even in the
yeah.
price. Yeah,
Even when we ran into a couple of problems, we were able to pull together between the two units, figure it out quickly, move on, and just, I mean, because there's complete being on tour is like a ballistics lab. Shit's going everywhere, and to be able to anticipate that, get around it, everybody just pitches in, okay, this is what we got to do, and just does it. Then that makes it surmountable every time. That's just the typical teamwork fashion. But we had that in spades. Like there was no weak link in the chain. Everybody did their part. Everybody was in on it. It was great.
Yep.
Which was the best gig from the tour?
Ooh.
Poland was my favorite, and Italy was a close second, and they're basically neck and neck.
Yeah, I would have to agree. You know, hey, Lestal, Switzerland.
Listal was special.
Yeah,
that was really special.
Was special. Yeah, that was like the least populated show of the gig, but it was never intended to be a full on. It was more of an intimate performance, and I think actually that night belonged to Bob Fox especially.
Yeah,
it was an old house. I like what kind of house would you call that?
Well, I'll explain a little bit about it if you don't mind. It was a place called Away. Thank you. That was the name of the venue, which was basically the basement of one of those. I don't think you call it a townhome, but like a 4-story flat where it's an attached building to a whole series of other houses on this hill in this little alpine town called Liestal, Switzerland. And when we got there, we realized the place was just sort of almost like a botanica, like there was dried herbs hanging everywhere and all these really
lots of witchcraft stuff.
Yeah, occult artwork everywhere. And the couple who ran the place they were super cool, but they were basically both in the arts, as it were, in some way or other. And the place was, people throw around the term cult, as a kitschy sort of thing. This was fucking cult. The stage was like adorned with like branches of trees, and there was no stage lighting, only candles everywhere.
There were bones hanging everywhere.
Yeah, animal bones. There was a human skull floating around in there. All sorts of stuff. And the stage was just dressed like, I looked at it, I stood back from it once we got all our gear up there, and I was going, this is what people thought all the black metal shows looked like in the 90s, was this. And obviously that wasn't really the case, but I tell you, yeah, to Dave's point, when Saxa got up there with their cloaks and their paint, it was just like, holy shit, this looks like something out of a movie. It was awesome. It was such an incredible vibe. There was 40 people there, but it was only like the size of a bedroom, so it was not weak by any means. It shouldn't have been more than that, really. It was just kind of a very truly obscure and magical night.
No flashy lighting. No, it was just dark, dim, like almost a grim, atmosphere. It was just
very,
it was really
very
cool.
clandestine.
Yeah, very clandestine. And when Bob Saxa was playing, the guy who ran the place, Hans, he lost his shit. And he lit a branch or something on fire. And
he had a bouquet of dried flowers.
And he was just waving it around everywhere. The whole place filled with smoke. But it just looked right with Boss Saxa up there. It's like, I thought he was going to burn the place down. But we're like, okay, well, it's your place. If you want to do it, go ahead. But it was really, really cool.
Yeah, we had to drive through the Swiss. Yeah, sorry. We had to drive through the Swiss Alps to get there, so that kind of added to the experience.
Yeah, that was nice. Stillfest was really, really cool too. Just to be in Finland finally. I've always wanted to see Finland, and it was brief but very, very nice. It was cool seeing all the bands there too. Getting to talk to Russ and everybody. Terry was there, from War Grinder. Terry, if you're watching, I hope you get better. I hope you get well. I know you're going through some stuff, man. But yeah, it was great seeing everybody, all the Masafa guys, and everybody. It was a good War Memorial guys and Quarter Rife and all those bands.
We were awake for basically 2 days to get to Steelfest. That was
we
brutal.
Yeah, we were pretty greasy right there at that point, man. We were just like running on pure just instinct, just like, okay, this is what we're doing. Yeah. No sleep from Belgium to Finland. It was like no sleep till Hammersmith is what it was.
Yeah.
Wow, that's harsh.
Yeah, and all of us were stone cold sober. So nobody was like,
there was no uppers or anything.
Nothing.
Like, it was all just straight adrenaline, man. That's it.
Yeah.
But we did it.
So the idea for the tour was hatched at Never Surrender, right?
Yes.
That is
Yeah,
that yeah.
yeah.
I figured
That's
as much. Yeah.
and
Well,
go on.
well, actually, Never Surrender planted the seeds. Like you said, it was hatched there. It was kind of
Right.
the tour itself wasn't really discussed at Never Surrender, but meeting Patrick in the flesh and meeting Simon and everybody,
Mhm.
in the flesh, Matthias, everybody. It was. It kind of like automatically I felt like there's a kind of a connection there, like so whenever we originally got approached by the tour from a guy named Vivi from Italy, and
Mhm.
well, something happened, the tour couldn't make it, but he still took care of us, and
In Italy, yeah.
yeah, and but I reached out to Patrick beforehand uh, to see if Bostock Sox would be interested in doing the tour with us. And he talked it with the guys, and they agreed they wanted to do it. Well, the Graveless Sin, I believe, was the production company in Italy.
Gravesend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Graveson. Yes,
Yeah.
Graveson. Helsinki. But he wanted to do the tour with both of us on there, but he just really couldn't find a way to get both of us to agree on the terms of what he was offering for the
Yeah.
tour. So he respectfully bowed out, but
Mhm.
he still took care of us in Italy. But Patrick, at that point, introduced us to Abyssal Booking.
Yeah,
And
he connected the dots and he said, "Why don't we just do it with our booking agent? We can make this work this way." And we're like, "Okay." And he just took the wheel and made it happen. I mean, we owe the entire endeavor to Baksak Saksa. They're the ones who made it possible. So,
Mhm.
yes. Uh,
Awesome.
but yeah, no, I mean, so yeah, Never Surrender was basically where the seeds got planted, like, so that was really cool. And that's also where I met Harris Dunn for the first time as well, who we got to work with for the release that came out, Vomitum Tempestus,
yeah.
Mhm.
the release. It was nice being able to work with a producer like Harris Gons. Even though he didn't record the material, he worked his magic and made sure that it all sounded uniform, because it was kind of pieced together. So.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about that for a moment because people don't know what went into making Vomitum Tempestus. That was effectively 6 sessions worth of material that
Mm.
Harris had to corral and turn into one uniform idea, with the sound field to match. And I don't think we could have had anybody else do it the way he did it, where he took recordings that were pre-existing, recordings that we had then turned around and finished. All of this was like Ruben's remaining material that we had, in various forms, kind of in semi-finished and finished forms, and missing vocals and missing lyrics and things like that. Am I saying that right, Dave? I think that's
Yeah.
yeah.
It was we had it was funny because we had the original version of Devil's Furnace that like the version you hear of that song on the release of Nomine Diaboli was the second version. So, but we all, Milton especially wanted to release the original version because he liked the way that actually sounded better. So we had that we wanted to release, and then we had Ancient Portals, so it just kind of got forgotten on a 7-inch with Blaspherian that got released a long time ago. It's not available anymore. We just wanted to give that song a new life, and then we had 2 songs that Ruben performed on before he crossed over, and then we had 2 songs that we finished that he wrote that Matt performed on. So Harris basically had to grab a session from our previous album. He had to grab a 7-inch burn. The original tracks were lost in the studio, so
Yeah.
he had to basically rip the MP3 from that 7-inch and do all kinds of stuff to it to kind of beef it up to the rest of the mix. he had to get the original Devil's Furnace and re-EQ the hell out of it. So he did a lot of work,
Yeah.
but the coolest thing he did was he sampled Ruben's snare and his kick drum from the songs Wretched Majesty and Fire Salvation, because that's Ruben performing on those songs. And he applied those to across the spectrum. So the songs that Matt played on, Ruben is actually what you're hearing on the snare and the kick.
Yeah.
So it's like he was speaking through Matt. So that was kind of a cool deal right there, So
Yeah. It was
I
some
didn't know
wizardry.
you could do that. So you can sample just a kick and snare and then just overlay it on top of what Matt is playing.
If you have an isolated capture of the snare and the kick, which we did because we
Right.
had all the tracks,
Mhm.
and if you're capable and talented and know how to make the dynamics sound right, and it doesn't just sound like a single sample, the answer is yes. Yes, you can.
Oh,
And
that's interesting.
and Matt was really big on that idea. He's like, I don't want it to sound like me. I'm trying to pay tribute to Ruben, and because it was already pre-written material that
Mhm.
Matt was finalizing, and so he felt very strongly about it being Ruben's voice. And so I brought that to Harris, and Harris came up with the solution. And then once he did that, it was incredible. It sounded like Ruben, because Matt tries really hard to always keep it in Ruben's style, and he does a great job. So to have the actual OG sounds of Ruben's kit made it perfect.
Yeah, that was so some people will hear the album, while it sounds, to me it sounds really, really, really great. But it's not fair to completely label it as complete Harris Johns, because what he did was just bring it all together.
Yeah.
It's not fair to say that it is just a Harris Johns release. Mike
Oh, no.
Barbecue did capture a bunch of all that stuff, but Harris just made it happen. Otherwise, it would have sounded like a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It would have been pieced together real weird. It wouldn't have felt. We wanted it to feel like a release, because it wasn't fair that Ruben wasn't able to see it to its end.
Yeah.
So it had to feel like a release. So that's where Harris came in, most important, I believe.
And I had this really strong idea. I mean, I've been trying to record an album with Harris for over a decade. He and I have known each other that long. And I went, he could do this. He could make this right. Because as Dave was saying, I didn't want it to come off like an odds and ends posthumous release. I wanted it to have its own continuous voice. And I knew Harris would be able to do it. And if he couldn't, then nobody could. That would answer that question.
Yeah. Just for the I guess surface skimmers, can you just talk about his past works, because he's pretty significant in the metal scene?
Yeah, you've probably heard his stuff, even if you don't know his name. Harris is the godfather of the German thrash scene, as far as being the mastermind, engineer, producer. He recorded all of Creator's original material, most notably Pleasure to Kill. He did Persecution Mania from Sodom, and then worked with them from there. He did Agent Orange as well. I think he was all the way up through Tapping the Vein with them. And he didn't work with Destruction, so that's the only exception. But then he famously Voivod, Killing Technology, and also Dimension Hatros.
Yes.
Then he also, big landmark album, Dawn of Possession from Immolation. Pestilence, Consuming Impulse.
Did you work with Sepultura? I can't remember.
No, he did not work with Sepultura.
Okay. So it was
Ratos de Pareo. He did them. And he's been active all these years. I mean, he's still in the mix, but it's so weird because people come to me and go, how did you get him to do this album? He's a big name. And I'm like going, he's my friend, and I asked him to do it, and we gave him some money. And that's how a working producer operates. It's like,
he did Tragic Serenades too.
Yes, he did. He worked with Celtic Frost, did Tragic Serenades. He did all the classic Coroner albums, all the noise era stuff.
R.I.P.
So he's a giant. I mean, so much of what we're sitting in now, he was one of a handful of producers from that era that helped shaped the sound field of what we've
Mhm.
got today.
Yeah. So yeah, for me personally, it was great seeing the name Harris Johns on something that I released, because I remember being 17 years old, looking at the back of Killing Technology and seeing recorded and produced by Harris Johns at Music Lab, Berlin, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. They're from Canada and they got some guy from Berlin to do it. So, like I was, 1986, 87, I was like absorbing all those little details and all these
Yeah.
records,
Yeah.
Pleasure to Kill, all that stuff like that. So to have the man who did Pleasure to Kill have his name on our record, just that's, put the car in park, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Bucket list type of stuff right there.
Bucket list, but yeah.
Yeah, Berlin is like a magical place where you meet people too. It's kind of weird like that, because I think both Patrick and I met our current wives in Berlin
Oh, wow.
at
Oh, really?
the festivals. Like at I think I met mine at one of the NWN festivals. And
Wow.
Oh, well,
Patrick,
there you go.
yeah,
Hey.
Patrick met her at the very first NWN festival,
Oh, wow.
2009. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, man, it's I always said that this music that we live and love, man, it's a lightning rod, man. All the people that matter in this world, all basically, they all came together in some form or another, through some form of music. I credit where I'm at in my life, with my family and everybody, through the path I've taken with this
Yeah,
music,
it's the life's blood, I
It
mean,
is a lifeblood.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
I
something
do
you
it every
can't
single
just
day.
shed either. You can't just say, okay, I'm done. Like, it's in your blood. It's in your blood. Hey,
Yeah.
I've been doing this since '92. So, 91 actually. But so yeah. It's been a while.
So maybe that's a good transition to going all the way back to the beginning and doing the
Yeah.
usual interview. But before I do that, does this say Beastie Boys behind your head? Does it say Beastie Boys?
Oh yeah, that's a Misfits flyer from one of their shows back in the Earth AD.
Back when they were a
The-
punk
yeah.
band.
Yeah,
But the
that's
Beastie
crazy.
Boys opened for the Misfits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep,
That's pretty interesting. Oh, I
yeah.
kept on looking at your head going, what does this say? It says something like Beastie
Yeah,
Boys.
no, it's the Die My Darling.
Yeah.
Thing.
No, it's a
got-
classic.
Yeah, classic. But yeah,
yeah.
that's Necro's open, Beastie Boys. I guess that was like Jeff said when they were a punk band.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I never liked them, but
yeah,
Necros
me
and
neither.
Misfits. Yeah.
Me neither, but it's just one of those things, man.
Hmm.
but
Yeah, well, let's go back all the way to 1992. So I guess you wanna tell the story about how Wes and I forgot the other member's name. Was it Phil?
Bill, yeah.
Yeah. How they started Imprecation and how you picked them up on
Well,
the side of the road.
okay. Oh, you're thinking of Mark. Yeah.
Oh,
Mark.
okay, it was Mark.
West didn't come around until our Sizzle of Baphomet. That's when he first appeared.
Oh no, it was
Yeah,
Ruben.
well,
It was
he
Ruben.
appeared. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what it was to anybody who might not have picked up the LP and got the cool little nifty magazine in there, like I'll basically tell the story in a nutshell. We were heading to I can't even remember where the hell we were heading. It was me and some buddies, and we were driving down the freeway and saw an old friend of mine, not an old friend, but a new friend actually, Mark Beecher. He was at the time he was on the side of I-45 kicking the shit out of his car, and we passed him by, and I'm like, "Hey, wasn't that guy Mark that knows Sean Trammell?" And we're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Hey, man, let's go back and see if he needs some help, man. He looked like he was kicking his car, So we flipped around, went and picked him up. He's like, "Yeah, man, my car is a piece of shit Hyundai, man. I'm getting rid of this thing." He's like, "But I need a ride over to the Texas Music Emporium." We're like, "Okay." He's like, he had to get some bass strings. He's like, "Hey, yeah, because I'm rehearsing tonight with my new band," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "Got guys from Dark Rain in it." I'm like, "How'd you score that?" And he's like, he's like, man, you know, I was talking to him and they said they, you know, wanted to try, you know, to work with me because, you know, I played bass with my fingers. I didn't use a pick. And Ruben went, you know, he was all about that, you know. And I was like, well, that's cool. And he goes, hey, we're looking for a lead guitar player. You wanna give it a shot? And I know you play guitar, right? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'll do it, you know. So he set up the audition. They came. I sucked. Like, you know, I played very, very, very minimalistic. I mean, I'm talking like Vaughn minimalistic, you know. And these guys were like, they're like real, like playing all the whatever the fucks, you know. And I could tell I wasn't impressing them very much. And they were just sitting there looking at me across the room while I'm playing this guitar. And I finally just said, screw it. And I just started barking vocals out, man. And that's when I noticed Ruben go, you know, and he, at the end of the thing, they came up and basically said, hey, man, we don't know about your guitar playing, but your vocals are killer. And I'm like, thanks, but it was kind of awkward because the vocalist at the time that they were going to use was sitting in the room watching, you know. So I don't know what happened, but he ended up not working out. And so they recruited me in, and then we had to decide on a name. We got the final piece was Victor Fernandez from Relayer. We just sat around. We all voted for Imprecation, you know. It was kind of weird because I was skeptical about it because, you know, you had Immolation and Incantation just, you know, like starting to make a lot of noise at that time in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we're going to be another one of those Asian bands, you know. And then Suffocation had just released Human Waste. So it was starting to kind of like, you know, the Asian thing was starting to become a thing. But all the other names that we were coming up with just really weren't kind of hitting. So we decided on Imprecation. It meant a wicked curse. So like, yeah, that's cool. And, you know, and we just started from there. And after a couple of shows, namely our first show with Grave, second show with Entombed, we were set to play with Immolation. No, wait. The 666 show came first, and then we were set to play with Immolation, and we decided that Victor, we weren't on the same page. Like, Victor's a cool guy. I'm not talking shit about him, but he just had he wanted to go a different direction, and it was just one of those things, you know. And so I called up Sweet Nightmares one night, and that was a radio show that Wes Weaver and Bill Bates, they used to host on Tuesday night on FM radio. So it was, that right there in itself was cool, because I mean that's where I learned about Morbid Angel and you know, like Entombed, Nihilist, and you know all those bands back in that time, Repulsion, and then that's where you heard it in Houston, Texas, you know. And I called him up, and I remember you know, he was playing Blaze in the Northern Sky. Whenever I called up and I was like, hey man, can you put out an announcement on the air that we're looking for a new guitar player? And Wes goes, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out here right now. Can I try out for y'all? And I'm like, what? You know, like, you know, okay, you know, like, you know, so I let the guys know, and everybody's like, do you think Wes, you know, he think he'd want to play guitar? I'm like, well, let's give him this, you know, let's try it out. I remember showing up to the practice room, and Wes is pacing back and forth. He was nervous as fuck, and I'm like, wow, man, Wes Weaver's nervous. You know, like this guy's like a legend, you know. And he got up there. Everybody came up, and he played, and you know, it was the only time I've ever seen Wes kind of shaky. It was really, really strange, but he ended up, we all clicked, and when he came into the band, I know the sound was developed by Phil, developed our guitar sound at the time, but I think Wes was so on board with what he had, the same mindset that we did. He wanted to play satanic death. He didn't want no bullshit. Like he just wanted to be evil and dark and heavy. So they naturally just, their sounds merged, and I think that's where Sigil of Baphomet became our first real, like, to me, that's when we really found our stride, you know, with Awakening of Majestic Darkness and Vomit Floods of Christian Remains. I think that's where we found our direction, you know. And I don't know, just basically like our love for shit, like, it's like me personally, I was influenced by Black Winds, David Vincent, Jeff Grusman, from Vital Remains. Like he was Let Us Pray and the Black Mass and all stuff had just came out.
Mhm.
And so all that stuff was like real invigorating to me. Ross Dolan was also another big inspiration to me at the time too, as well as, like I said, Black Winds and Blasphemy and old Beharrett stuff. So that you having this with Beharrett, that was like special right there, because that was another major building block on, to what I am right now. So
How did the deal with Dave Rotten come about?
Wes would come to the practice room like every week. He'd sit down with a bag full of mail that we just got from, and he'd dump it out in the middle of the room, and we just go through it. And I remember we had a letter from Siberia at the time. I thought that was kind of weird, but he had one from Spain, and it was from Drown Productions, and they were saying they were looking for an American death metal band, and he really liked our demo, the Ceremony of the Nine Angles, and he wanted to work with us, and we were basically like, fuck yeah. I mean, because at that time Texas was so not on the map. I mean, like Absu was doing stuff, and rigor mortis. People knew about rigor mortis, and of course, Necrovore and all stuff like that, But Texas was still kind of an unknown area. Everybody had their eyes down in Florida, up in New York, and California, naturally, and of course, you had your Midwest scene going on too as well. But Texas was like nobody really knew about the music that was coming out in Texas. So for him to approach us, we thought that was like that's our opportunity, to do something, because a lot of these youngins don't. These days don't know. Back then, you couldn't get, if you didn't have a record label behind you, it was impossible. Like you didn't go put CDs out. Like that shit didn't happen. It was too expensive. Somebody to press the vinyl, it didn't fucking happen, man. Like you had to have a record label behind you. You just couldn't just go out and do it like some people do now. And so to have somebody willing to put money into pressing a record was, we were beside ourselves. We're like, hell yeah, and I'm thankful for that release, because it got us recognized in Europe. That was like a major step for our band. But I mean, hell, back then I couldn't even print my fucking lyrics out. Like, with Ceremony of the Nine Angles, you've released it with the original artwork. Like I couldn't get anybody to print that. Nobody would print my lyrics. They read them and like, fuck that. I'm not touching that. So it was real difficult back then, and so, but Drowned being there saying, hey, we'll print your lyrics. We'll do it. It was a breath of fresh air, something cool.
Did you pick the artwork or in the artist, or was that commissioned by Dave Rotten, the Chris Moyer?
Yeah, no, I drew it.
Oh yeah.
No, he's talking about the Moyen cover.
Yeah, the Chris Moyen cover. Yeah.
Oh, that one.
CD,
oh, I thought you were talking about the sigil of Baphomet stuff.
No.
Oh yeah, no, that right there. We had been, like I said, Beharrett and Blasphemy were very big with us at the time, especially me and Mark Beecher, and we wanted to have that kind of look for a record in Onward to Golgotha. Onward to Golgotha. That was another. No, not that. I'm sorry. Entrapment of Evil.
Yeah, the 70s.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Entrapment of Evil. That artwork. That was all artwork that we really connected with, especially the demoniac artwork from Moyen, and the Oath of Black Blood, and all the old Beharrett shit. So we wrote him, and he wrote us back, said he'd be interested in working with us. So that was really, really cool to have Christoph Moyen say that, but then I had left the band before the artwork got talked about, the design. But I remember me and Mark were always talking about how cool it'd be to do like a blasphemous Last Supper, you know. And so he just carried that idea, and Moyen completed it. So, you know, that's what happened.
Yeah, it's one of the best Chris Moyen pieces, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, it came out really cool. You know, we got a lot of shit for it when it came out because it was in color. You know,
right.
and a lot of people didn't know what to do with that because Chris Moyen is strictly black and white, red logo. You know, like, and that's basically what you got with Moyen. You know, and it was like I said, I wasn't in the band whenever the final piece came out, but it kind of threw me off a little bit too when I saw it was in color. But through the years, it made me know that it's just that much more special. You know,
I think now it stands out.
It definitely stands
does.
out.
It looks great.
I think it's cool that you got it, CK.
Oh yeah, I ended up buying it.
Yeah.
It was just easier to scan here. That was the main thing. Was like he kept on sending me these like low resolution files, and I wanted everything to look super sharp. So that's why. I mean, it's part of the reason why I just ended up buying it.
It's that obsessive nature you have, man.
Yeah, it's that commitment to detail.
That's good. That's good. You even got the 2 extra demons on the end, you know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cut off on the CD, right? Because the way that they cropped it or something. Yeah.
So
Chris Moyen did 3 full color pieces. One was for you guys, one was for Goat Lord, which I also released.
Oh yeah.
And then Patrick released the Mortuary Blackened Images. So between me and Patrick, we have all the bases covered for full color Moyen.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You know, I was just gonna say, while we're in this part of the timeline, it's just kind of a footnote, but I actually saw Imprecation on their first show with Wes with opening for Immolation, because I was in a band sessioning called Indignation, another Asian band from San Antonio, which also featured Louis Carasales, who was the drummer on the original Devastation recordings, Devastation from Texas. So Imprecation played, and then we played, and I had not heard of Imprecation before. So that was really exciting for me. And I got their night. Yeah, and I got their demo that night, and I was a fan ever since. And so to find myself, you know, out with them now doing this for so many years is really exciting.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of like whenever I joined Imprecation, I had been a big fan of Dark Range all those years, you know, and to actually be in a band with members of it, you know, it was pretty cool, you know. So
yeah, it's just funny how it worked out.
Yeah. Aaron from Goat Throne did the tape, right? That was Indignation. Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yeah. I wasn't on that recording, but I was actually go figure. I had a pristine copy of that tape. I gave it to Carl, the original guitarist, as a Christmas present. I wanted him to have it back because he didn't have one anymore. And then that became the master tape that Aaron re-released for Indignation. So it's all in the family.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think that was cool that Aaron released that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
He also did didn't he do he also did Dark Rain too, right? It was like a compilation
of Matter of fact, a sad note, footnote on that particular release is he was working with Ruben on that, like, and Ruben had died like right before that was getting finalized. So Aaron kind of carried that over the finish line as well, you know. So so when that release came out, it's like, oh man, like, you know, like it's just all kinds of. It was bad all around during that time because, like, you know, like, as COVID fucked everything up with the pressing plants and everything like that. Like our third album that Ruben had spent so many hours in the studio working and laboring with, and, you know, doing all kinds of poking and prodding to. you know, he never got to see the finished work on it. You know, he never got to hold it in his hands. You know,
Yeah.
so that kind of sucked too. You know, so it just kind of robbed. That was a bad time. You know, for not just for us, for everybody. But
For
you know,
everybody. Yeah.
but in particular, like it just sucked because you know COVID had come and gone. You know, that the following years when you know like it had already been being dealt with and stuff, but that the record plants were so backed up from all that shit that it took forever for In Nomine Diaboli to come out, you know. So it's kind of bittersweet when it came out. You know, it's like, oh, it's finally out 3 years later. What was it, 2 years later or something like that?
2.5 years.
Yeah. It's 2.5 years later, finally out, and Ruben's gone. You know, so
Yeah.
And it was cool because we have that one video, which we should probably re-release.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but the one video where we went to Yorktown Memorial Hospital and recorded our only music video, and Ruben was in it. So he
Well,
got
no,
to
it
do
is.
that.
It's not our only music video. We had Temple of the Foul Spirit, which doesn't feature the
Oh,
band.
yes,
but
yes. Sorry, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff worked real hard on that one. So
it's like, hey, man. Yeah.
You dealt with a bunch of maggots for that one and shit.
Yeah. So we've got two videos, but the one that actually featured the whole band in it was Bringer of Sickness that we filmed at the Yorktown, the abandoned hospital. I mean, it's owned and they do like ghost tours in there and stuff, but those guys were so cool. They let us rent it out for like the entire night, and we were there till about 4 a.m.
Yeah, all by
filming
ourselves.
Yeah.
Inside the chapel and shit, you know. Like,
Yeah.
That was cool, man.
Yeah. So we are going to put together an Imprecation channel that finally consolidates all the videos, live performances, all that stuff. Because there's tons of good material of us, but it's all scattered around, and we need to kind of put it all in one place so people can.
Yeah, I've been working putting all the live videos in a file, like all the old ones that I can find.
Oh, good. I need those.
So I'm gonna send you that file.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you that file, and we can put it all together on a channel. So.
But yeah, I mean, now kind of just coming full circle with that, you know, we've got all this recognition. I mean, we don't have to introduce ourselves anymore. So now it's just time to keep cultivating and let people have more access to what we're doing, and, you know, kind of just get the complete idea if they only know a few things from us, or like the newest thing or whatever, or their oldest thing, you know. We were talking about we were talking about Brazil a little bit earlier. That was amazing. First time we ever went there. Room was packed for us to capacity, you know. We got treated really, really well.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was cool hanging out with Armando from Mystifier afterwards too. He's crazy. You know, it was a great experience, man.
How long is the flight to Brazil? I've never been there.
Oof. Wasn't it like 13 hours? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It was long.
It was
like
14 hours.
Yeah, long. Yeah. Longer than Europe. It's like because you're arcing over the side of the planet. And
right. I guess it's pretty close to going to Japan or that part of the world.
The one advantage is there's only a 2-hour time difference, so you don't really get jet lag. You're just tired out from the flight. So, but it's easy to hit the ground running at least when you're there.
Right. Yeah, David was telling me about the Brazilian steakhouse. I'm jealous of that.
Well, it was funny because it was actually one that they have in the States. It's called Fogo de Chao, and it was really near the hotel district we were in, and I was almost going, this is for the tourists. Where's the real place? And then everybody around us were going, no. That place is good. You should go there. And we did, and it was good.
Yeah,
you know?
This is where it came from. So you know.
Right.
So, you know. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Although here's the thing. I'll tell anybody who hasn't gone to a Brazilian steakhouse yet, and how they try to get you is with the fried bananas. Like they bring the meat around and then like 10 times as much they try to bring around fried bananas to get you to stop eating because it's all you can eat.
Right.
And so they would not stop trying to give us fried bananas. It was pretty hilarious. But
I liked it when that guy with the chicken on the fucking board. He's all walking around the restaurant. Nobody wanted the chicken.
Yeah, nobody wants the chicken. They just don't want the beef.
Nobody wanted the
Yeah.
chicken. So fucking
That's
Hefner
another
goes,
trick.
yeah, Hefner goes, yeah, I feel kind of sorry for that guy, you know, because he's just walking around. Everybody's turning away. He goes, hey, I'll take some. Homeboy comes up and just drops the whole fucking chicken on his plate and takes off, you know. we're like, oh, go ahead, Hefner, go ahead and eat it, you know. So that shit was fucking funny. He's like, man, I want the whole thing, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's remarkable because when I first went to Brazil in 2003, it had not really emerged yet as much as it was a cool place, but it was even rougher. And when we went back this time after 20 years, it had come up a lot in terms of just conditions and, access to goods and services, just things that make a large nation run. Everything seemed smoother than before. And that was nice to see, because those folks are, they're very tenacious and big-hearted people, and knowing that they were going through some tough times, it was nice to see that they were actually getting it a little bit a better, I don't know, better overall situation from their day to day.
Yeah, it was really nice, you know. Yeah, Santiago was incredible too, man. South America rules, man. You know, like Death Division Rituals brought us out down there. That was something I'll never forget either, man. That was just woo. Hey, atomicide, huh?
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, this may not be a surprise, but people, especially people in South America, are very authentic. There's not a lot of, good people are where you find them, but from a cultural standpoint, they're not nearly as caught up in so much of just the hyper politicized, divisive, obsessive minutia and bullshit that we're doing up here these days. It's kind of like almost going back. It's almost like being in America in the 80s when you go to South America. Everybody's just cool and just into having a good time and doing something, just trying to get along,
and what's cool about South America too is there's still like a religiously like steeped in religion and stuff, so a satanic death metal band does well down there.
Yeah, there's something to lean against.
They're actually offended.
Nobody's asking us why we're not playing music like gore metal or anything like that. People are happy that we're a satanic death metal band,
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, there's not many of us around these days, at least not in the death metal scene. It's mainly either black or thrash. So.
Did you guys go to that metal mall in Sao Paulo? It's like 4 stories high. It's all metal.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the Galleria
del Rock.
Yes, yes. Place is awesome.
It is, although it's incredible because of like the internet and online shopping and things like that. It's not what it used to be. When we went there in 2003 with the Versafira, and we actually did like a autograph signing at that mall, and every floor was just jammed full of stores and like just endless records, endless CDs everywhere. These days it's more kind of like a big high-rise Hot Topic, and I'm not even being critical of that, but it's more Rammstein mainstream kind of shirts and stuff, or Iron Maiden, or high level things that everybody knows in every store. Oh God, Dave, what was the name of the label that had the store up in the top corner?
I was just about to ask you the same thing, man.
I'm suddenly forgetting.
Mutilation.
Mutilation. Mutilation. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to say Massacre, and I knew that wasn't right. No, Mutilation Records. They used to have a bigger footprint. I'd been there back then, and they're still there though, and they treated us like gold. They were super nice, and we got a lot of cool stuff out of that store while we were there. So yeah, I think it's worth the trip to go down there just to check it out, but it's not the gold mine it was in the old days. Just to be clear.
Right. Did you guys go to the Cogumelo flagship store?
Mm-mm. No.
No.
You gotta understand that Sao Paulo, it takes literally an hour one direction to get anywhere. You
Oh yeah.
know, yeah, and like the airport was only 20 kilometers away, and it took us like 2.5 hours to get to the
Wow, that's
airport.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like New York City and shit. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's like New
yeah,
York City and LA like mapped over each other. It was just it's
yeah,
unbelievable. We almost missed our flights and we left almost 3 hours early to get
That's
to the
crazy.
airport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
so no, that's the only place we really went because otherwise we needed to kind of stick closer because there's so many bands on the bill that we wanted to go check out, so we didn't want to miss out on that. So we were taking the shuttles with the rest of the bands to actually go to the venue and hang out and just be there most of the
Yeah,
time.
that fest was run real smooth, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For all the
Yeah.
moving parts on that fest, it was like, as far as my experience on it, it went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
They had they had a woman stationed. What was her name?
Barbara.
Barbara. Yes, she was
Yeah.
stationed in the hotel, and she had everybody's itinerary in front. She would let us know this is when your bus is going to come pick you up. You're going to do this, this, this. Yeah, like it was very, very smoothly run.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very, very pro. We had no trouble at all. No
Yeah.
miscommunication, nothing. Everything was just clockwork.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm so spoiled at this point. I only want to play fests where the lineup is awesome and there's like nothing but bands I want to see. Because I'm basically like, we get paid to go there, we play, and then we just get to hang around at this fest for 3 days and see a bunch of awesome bands just for free and just be there. It's like a paid
Mhm.
vacation. I love that.
Yeah, that's fucking killer. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, shit. Speaking of Killer Fest, yeah, Never Surrender. That's fucking, and
Yeah, same deal.
being in Berlin in December, man, that was fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
Like everything was snowy and standing in front of that police station, having Necro's horns take that picture and stuff,
Yeah.
but you could see the bullet holes in the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah, because there'd been like
Yeah.
a police action there before, right at
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't know if you know what we're talking about, Yusuke. It's the photo on the interior of
Yeah,
Vomiting
I know which photo.
Tempestus, and
Mhm.
it's right around the corner from the venue. I saw it when we were
Mm.
walking back, and it had those wrought iron gates. And I said, "This looks perfect." And I'll tell the story real quick. It was so funny because I went back to the hotel and told the guys, at the hostel, I was like, "Hey, I found where we can take the group photo with the Necros horns." And then I talked to the photographer and I said, okay, we got to do this at 10 in the morning on Sunday. So, and I said to Matt was all fired up to go party on Saturday night after the fest. And I said, we're pulling you out of bed and you're going to go take that picture with us on Sunday morning. I'm not letting you say no. And to his credit, he got up and he was so sour. He's just like, he's so mad. But then he went and took the photo and then started drinking again, and then he was okay for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when Matt did drink.
Yeah, he's on the wagon now, and full support for that. But it was funny because I
Yeah.
told him like 3 times. I was like, I'm pulling you out of bed to do this, man. So just be ready. I'm not letting you say no, and it worked out great. Got a great commemoration of Berlin and just everything surrounding it because we loved playing Never Surrender. That was an amazing experience.
Those
Yeah.
bullet holes could have been from the war because
That's what I'm thinking.
if you go to the famous gate, it's just riddled with bullet holes. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It was some kind of there was like a information on it and it was war related, but there was like some kind of like area police action where they had to like stand their ground or something. I don't know if it was against Russians or whatever, but something like that. I mean, Dave knows this. I'm constantly, anytime we're moving around anywhere that's new to me, I'm constantly looking for like locations. I'm like a location scout going, where can we take a picture?
Hey, I'm thankful for that because I'm just like, well, whatever, man. Y'all seem to know where to go, man. I'm just like, yeah.
But yeah. So I guess where were we? We jumped ahead and I guess
you went all the way back to Brazil and then you went to Chile.
Yeah.
But I do have one question. So the last material that was recorded was the final recording with Ruben. Will you guys write any more music as Imprecation?
Yeah, we're talking about it. Like it's the songs have to be right. We definitely want to keep our relationship working with you going. So
Yeah.
that's another good thing. But yeah, we're kind of kicking it around right now. Like it's like I said, there's right now Milton is working with the Morvis material, and I know Jeff and Nick are hard at work with the trumpet stuff. So that's kind of like taking the front seat on that kind of aspect and stuff. But yeah, I think there's stuff planned. It's got to be right. We've kept it going all these years from when we first started, pretty authentic to our sound. Like I know it's, of course, it's changed a little, slightly through the years here and there, but I think you can hear some of our newer material and hear some of our older material and know it's the same band. It's not like a radical change or anything like that. So as long as it sounds like Imprecation, then that's something that, needs to be spewed forth, so.
Yeah. I mean, we're staying together as a unit. We're already even planning out to sort of tentatively to 2027 to go back to Europe and do some stuff with Abyssal Productions. So we have a lot of ideas going forward about what we're going to do as an active band. I perceive that our biggest challenge going forward will be writing and creating new material for the first time without having Ruben involved. That's going to change the dynamic a lot because he spent so much time literally woodshedding it. He had a shed in his backyard with his kit and all of his gear, and he would just demo stuff and tap stuff out. And we're going to have to take up that slack together and figure out a new dynamic of how that's going to look and feel. I mean, Matt's resourceful that way. I'll say this much. Nick had an unfinished demoed song that Ruben had given the thumbs up on moving forward with. So Nick and Matt have been sort of tapping it out, just trying to get a feel for it. So I mean, there's sparks of inspiration there for sure.
Yeah, and actually there is one final song that Ruben did write that we've decided to give another listen to because it's a very grand song. Like it's a longer one. It's like about 7 minutes long. It's a good song. We just didn't really know how that would fit into the last release. It just didn't really fit with the material that was there, but I think it could probably fit on this one. So it'd be kind of cool to have another song that's waiting to be heard,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the long answer. I guess the short answer is, yeah, we're thinking about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think you guys should continue because there's a lot of momentum behind the band right now. And it'll be tragic not to record something new and keep that going,
I agree.
Yeah, I think everybody in the band has the correct mindset to carry forth, and a lot of people don't realize is there are really no new guys in this band. Like it's Matt's the new guy, I guess. Because by default, I guess. But he's been around. He's been like a Blaspherian and all the like. His mental stance on all this is the right fit. Jeff's been in the band for a decade. Milton's been in the band for 15 years. Maybe a little bit longer because he did kind of help us out with a couple of things even predating 2010. So Milton's been in the band. He's been writing music for the band throughout that as well. Like, I mean, he's wrote Blood Dominion, freaking Morbid Crucifixion, Angel of Salvation Doom, Agnus Dei, Spirit of Blood, like Devil's Furnace, Black Communion. So he's written a lot for the band. Nick's written a lot for the band. He's been 5 years in this band now, you
Yeah.
know, I think 6 now, right? You know, so there's
Yeah.
we're not a bunch of, it's not like me and a bunch of guys, new guys. We've all done our time, done our knocks in this band. So it's, you know, for all these fuckheads that say we don't know what the fuck, you know, we're doing with the name and stuff, y'all can go fuck yourselves because
Yeah.
we know what we know. We've made our mark on this band, and you know, and I'll be damned if I let this band become something it's not.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
there's no way. You know, like if it doesn't sound like Imprecation, it's not going out. You know, so
Right.
I completely respect everything that's been built to this point, and I was there from day one. I took a hiatus for a little bit, but I've already been back in for. I did 3 years in the beginning, and then 15 years in the second phase. You know, so 16 years. So you know, I know what this band needs to do. You know, so
Yeah.
if there's something to come out and it's going to come out right, it'll come out. You know.
And it's kind of amazing the alchemy of that writing process. You got, I haven't really written much of anything. I've made a few tweaks here and there, but most of that material has been just, I mean, the momentum that Milton has with it, and then Nick jumping in and writing like full songs for Innomine.
Yep.
And the reason it's notable is that, and you know, Matt coming in as well, is that everyone is writing to the Imprecation sound. No one's trying to take it in a different direction. We all understand what it's supposed to be. So that's
Yep.
unusual. Usually somebody comes into a band newer, even if they're a fan, they start putting their own ideas in it and it starts to shift and change. But I feel like since the band reactivated, well, I guess it was what, 2010 officially, or well, that was with the Foley's, right?
Yeah, 2009, 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, once they reactivated, that sound got codified and kind of carried forward the old era of the sound and gave it a little bit of a tweak, but not much, like Dave said. And now we're all just writing to it. We're not going to take it in any new direction. We just want to keep exploring that same space that's already been, you know, established.
Yep. That's it.
How do you guys rehearse with Nick and Jeff living in Austin?
We don't.
Well,
no, we do. It's basically, and this is one of the big reasons that I approached Jeff in the first place when we were looking for a bass player, because I knew he was the right guy for the spot. I've known Jeff with my days with Behemoron.
yeah.
Like, you know, when he was in Aversa and I was in Behemoron, I knew him from back in the day, and I was like, I want to jam with this guy. You know, like he's got a good head on his shoulder. He knows what the fuck's up. But what I respected about Jeff most was his ability to jump on stage with Antaeus with 2 days practice, or a band like Death Wolf, who he wasn't very familiar with all the material and learned their entire set in a matter of days, had notes on the stage, and was able to pull off a performance with that kind of thing. I was like, that's the guy this band needs, because we're all older. We all have our careers. We all have our families. We all have this stuff, and we don't have a whole lot of time to be practicing 4 or 5 days a week, you know, like,
Yeah.
So this band is built on, it's now in a stage of understanding that everybody in this band knows what their role is and know how to take care of that. And when it's time to play, it's time to bring it, you know?
Yeah.
It used to be back in the day, like it was very, very methodical. Like everything has precise, everything had to have, it needed to be quote unquote tighter than a nun's cunt. Okay. You know, so that was the saying that we used to say in the band, you know, but now everybody in the band knows what they need to do, and they, you know, everybody takes their craft seriously. So when it's time to get together, it's like we've been rehearsing all along, because everybody knows how to do it, you know? So,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, Milton and Matt will sometimes get together and work on it just between the two of them, just so Matt can stay on top of it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then Nick and I drive up together from Austin when we do we'll usually rehearse a couple of times before we're supposed to play a show. But yeah, we've both been playing at home to the tracks. Dave shows up occasionally, you know, when he when he
I
gets
know. Dave
when
never
his
practices.
lead singer syndrome isn't acting up.
It's not
And
a lead singer syndrome. I'm a busy man.
yeah, yeah,
But
but
we all are, though. We all are.
but yeah, so Nick and I will come up for like a whole afternoon. We'll get there at like 4 and then like leave about 9 and go pig out at Katz's Deli and then drive back, you know, get home late. And
Yeah. I
but
hear the
yeah,
same shit from my other band, Wolf Skull. Like, you know, they always give me shit because I don't go to practice either, you know. But it's not that I don't want to. It's just, man, I'm stretched thin. You know, I just got a lot of things going on. But
yeah,
but I'll make it happen when it's time to. You know.
yeah.
Mhm.
But to Dave's point, yeah, we're all veterans here, and we know
I
how to
mean,
keep.
I can't tell that you guys don't rehearse at all. Like when you guys play live, it sounds ultra tight and it sounds
Thanks.
super rehearsed. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess you just know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, and again, we do a lot of preparation on our own in our
Mhm.
own homes and whatever, so we're never like unprepared. We just don't get together and do it as often.
Right.
I'll say this: when we went to Europe, about 3 shows in, I had never heard us that leveled up before. That was insane. Hey, Dave, you're going sideways.
Hey, look. Okay, yeah, something
Yeah.
happened. I don't know what happened.
But yeah,
But, yeah.
we were extra tight and extra powerful, and I was like, man, if we practiced like weekly, I can't imagine how insane we would sound. I
I
mean,
know. Like by the time we got to Steel Fest, we were like a little machine. Like we were
yeah,
just like cogs and moving parts. Like we were just boom, 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 just like the voice. My voice was starting to go. Okay, man, what the fuck, like but as a unit, like when we got on stage, it just started hitting, and it was like crazy. So yeah, like to Jeff's point, yeah, if we rehearsed all the time, he knows,
yeah,
but so we just kind of pieced it together, and we know what to do,
yeah.
we know what to do.
So you guys have played, let's see, Chile. Did you guys play Colombia?
Not
No.
yet.
Okay. Is that on the horizon for 2026, you think?
I would love that.
Yeah,
We gotta
so
talk
far, no.
I might have a line on that, but we haven't even talked about it amongst ourselves yet. So
Yeah, maybe Nelson from Silphorium can hook it up or something.
yeah,
that'd be cool. I'd be down. Like go back down. It'd be really cool.
definitely. But
You guys did Chile, Brazil.
mhm.
Have you guys done Ecuador or Guatemala?
Nowhere
No,
like that.
we've only done Brazil and Chile. That's it.
Okay.
As far as
And then
So-
Mexico's happening next month.
Yep.
Yes.
I guess we should talk about that a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, that's happening on the 13th of December, right? Was it 13th?
Yeah,
That's Saturday.
13th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that should be
And-
good. We'll go grab some tacos and
Hell yeah.
not at
Let's,
the place Carlos took you though.
No, not to the street taco place where I got
Zorak.
food poisoning for about 2 weeks or so. But yeah,
God.
Carlos is something else, man.
Yeah. Well, Carlos has that dual citizenship stomach, So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he's able to eat whatever off the street
Yeah.
and survive. It's crazy.
Ironsides. He's like,
Yeah.
he can do whatever, It's like,
I'm really intrigued at the venue. I looked up the district, and it looks like it's a revitalized area called the Fabrica.
Right. Yeah,
and-
it's where Beharit played. It's a bit of a, I don't want to say dingy, but it's like a pizza parlor that's turned into a venue type thing. It's
Mhm.
pretty interesting, but a lot of underground bands play there these days. So
Cool.
and I
what's
think
it called? It's called Blood. The name of the venue is called Blood.
I forgot what it was called actually off the top of my head. I don't remember, but it's a, like during the day it's a pizza parlor, and at night it turns into a venue.
Cool.
Yeah. It just
But
says on the flyer Blood. Like that's the the
Huh.
venue, and I'm like, okay, Blood, cool.
I
Blood
don't
is a
remember
good German
that.
band.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
Well,
yeah,
and
actually, yeah, I
actually a
mean,
great German band. But,
I think, yeah, I think it should be the same place where Big Hair played, but the smaller stage, not the bigger stage where they
yeah,
played.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's fine.
Hey,
I'm
we're just
glad.
going. We're going to just do our thing, man. I don't care what stage, just put us on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're going there after the riots have occurred. So that's
Oh,
definitely
right. Yeah.
better.
It might still be going on. I don't know. There,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
wild down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hoping we can go to El Chopo. That's on everybody's list. You ever
Oh,
been
yeah,
there,
yeah.
Yosuke?
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay.
It's 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 like bootleggers paradise or something.
Yep.
It's almost as if like they collected every bootleg from around the globe
Yep.
and then made a market out of it.
Yeah.
So if you want a bootleg T-shirt of a band, like any obscure band you can think of, they probably have it.
That's what I'm
Oh,
after.
Well, I'm looking forward to
they will
that.
definitely have Imprecation bootlegs because they
Hell
know
yeah.
whenever a band's coming, they know to print the bootleg shirts.
Yes. And
That's cool.
but they don't do it as much anymore where they print like a unique design. I used to love that. They would print like they would take their own, they would take different artwork or something
Yeah.
out of a Gustave Doré book and put the logo on it and it looked cool as fuck. And they don't do that as often anymore. I mean, in fact, it's so funny. Like when Aversa played in Mexico City in 2010, we didn't want to deal with bringing merch. It was a festival we were playing. We didn't even want to deal with bringing merch. So I made a shirt design for the promoter and I said, give this to whoever wants it. And then those shirts got printed up and I just went and got some for myself as souvenirs. So,
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I do have to wake up very early tomorrow. So, is there any final questions that we can do? Because I'm getting hungry.
Yeah,
and it's
we'll
time
wrap
for
it up.
bed.
Yeah, let's wrap it up then. I guess we covered most of the bases, so maybe we can continue this conversation some other time if I come up with other questions. But
Sure.
That
it's
sounds
been
good.
pretty interesting. We covered the early days and perhaps some new material in the future, bunch of gigs coming up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
any final words from you guys before we end the session?
No, man, I'm just looking forward to Mexico City. It's gonna be killer. Like we're looking forward to it, and we got some good things in the works for next year.
Hmm.
It's gonna be good to return back to New York. They always go hard up there for us. It's a
Well, yeah,
good
as far
place.
as we know.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
New York's a weird place these days, but
yeah, I suppose it's been a while since we've been up there, but every time we've gone up there, they've always been
yeah,
cool.
yeah, I'm kidding. I mean, I think it's gonna
Yeah,
be great.
but yeah, it's gonna be killer, but yeah, and
Yeah.
then maybe get up to Canada if that
Yeah.
materializes. That'd be nice, So
Yeah. I just wanted to thank you again, Yosuke. I mean,
absolutely.
since we've been
Sure,
working
sure.
with you, all doors have been opened. I mean, it has changed dramatically. I mean, we were doing okay before we partnered with you, but now I don't think it's a coincidence that things are going as well as they are. So
I
we're
think both of our visions kind of align, and then just being local makes things so much easier to communicate.
Yeah,
definitely.
No,
Details here and there.
it's definitely been good working with you, man, and we look forward to more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, you guys. I know it's kind of late now, so I'll let you guys go. I don't know. Maybe we can do this again in the future if
Sure.
there's a need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But if I don't see you guys anytime soon, I hope your Thanksgiving is great, and hopefully
Same
you
to
guys
you,
can
man.
make it to Korean barbecue next time.
Yes,
Yeah.
that sounds good. That sounds
Yeah.
good, man.
Right on.
Thanks for the invite.
And
too.
and then
Yeah, thank
I
you.
guess we'll see each other in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Less than a month.
Yeah. If you're watching this in Mexico City, don't miss it. We're gonna be there for the first time ever, and we're
Yep.
gonna bring
Yes.
it.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
they
will.
will.
We will be there. We look forward to seeing all y'all out there. So
Yeah, and
Yeah,
bring me
come-
some tacos.
bring some
Yeah.
tacos.
Not
and
from the
Yeah.
beer.
street.
Yeah. Clean
All
tacos,
right.
please.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Cheers.
Good night, guys.
Later.
Thanks.